What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got some Destiny 2 updates and a breakdown for the weekly reset this Tuesday, August the 1st. And so, this week we have the final week of Solstice, and that actually comes with some extra updates from Bungie, as well as a few changes worth knowing about, so we'll cover that. And additionally, Bungie say they'll have more reveals for Season 22 to come soon. So in this next week or so, we'll be on the lookout for more information about the upcoming season. But moving to gameplay this week, we'll cover the weekly Nightfall and featured activities, as well as the playlist modes, key rewards, and the raid challenges with everything worth knowing about what's happening in the game this week. And so as always guys, I hope you find the video today useful, and if you do, a rating below would really help us out, plus be sure to get subscribed and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content, but otherwise, let's get into it. And so with us heading into the start of August with this week's reset, it is worth keeping in mind initially that we're going to get the showcase for the final shape on August 22nd, and that'll also be the launch day for Season 22. So later on this month, things will get a little more interesting, plus Bungie have said that there'll be a bunch of reveals between now and then, including more standalone articles to dive deeper into the world of Destiny 2 and some of the changes that Bungie are planning. So while the week-to-week gameplay side in the next couple of weeks may be a little bit quieter, we can certainly expect to get some news at least. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But moving into gameplay stuff for this week, we are going into the final week for Solstice of Heroes. So there are some updates from Bungie worth keeping in mind, and initially, they say they're actively investigating a fix for an issue been discovered along the Solstice quest chain, which has kept the kindling pop-up active for some players, and also further blocks quest progression when rekindling all the armor on one character. And so it's possible we'll get yet another update in the middle of the week for that, but with Solstice coming to a close, they say the event card is only accessible during the event, so players should be sure to claim any completed objectives or rewards before the event ends on August 8th, and any unclaimed rewards will no longer be available once the event comes to a close. If you are jumping into the Bonfire Bash though, they've also said that beginning this reset, we'll be able to sparrow to our heart's content in the activity. So kind of a strange one right there. We've had 2 weeks where we can't use sparrows, but going into this last week, if you are playing the Bonfire Bash, just keep in mind we will finally be able to travel with sparrows inside of the activity. Otherwise though, when we get to next week's reset, Solstice will go away, and we won't see its return until next year. Speaking of things wrapping up for the end of the season though, last week we had the final set of weekly challenges, so as far as we know, there won't be any other new ones introduced now for the remainder of the season, but of course we can complete any remaining challenges. And then looking at Veil Containment, of course on a weekly basis we have been getting story dialogue inside of the activity, and Bungie have confirmed that it will continue to be unlocked for the remaining 3 weeks of Season 21, so it confirms that that story will continue right up until the end of the season, and if you've missed any of the audio inside of that mission, you can actually boot it up and catch up with all of the dialogue throughout the entire thing. So be sure to keep that in mind. But then we move over to the Vanguard, and for the weekly Nightfall this time around, we'll get Fallen Saber. And so the featured weapon will be Loaded Question, but on top of that, of course, we have Grandmasters and the catch-up node. So if you need to work on any of that stuff, it is still available. Moving over to Gambit, we don't know of any boosts or anything active this week. We did get one last week. Bungie haven't confirmed whether we'll get an additional loot or XP boost in the playlists this week though, so we'll have to simply wait and see on the reset. But for the Crucible, we are going to see Clash and Mayhem featured all week long, and then Trials will return at the weekend on Friday's daily reset. And Bungie have confirmed initially that it will be the final week where players can earn the Exalted Truth hand cannon, so if that's one you plan to pick up, it'll certainly be worth playing this weekend, and that'll be replaced with new weapons next season. On top of that though, map voting for Trials this weekend will go live on August 1st, so the community will be able to vote between Cathedral of Dusk, Vostok, and the Anomaly. And if you're registered for Bungie emails, that should go out on Tuesday, August 1st, but if you stay tuned to Destiny 2's Twitter channel, if not, they will provide a link where players can vote. So if you're going to jump into Trials this weekend, let us know which map you would prefer to see. But getting on to other featured activities, this week for the featured raid and dungeon, we're going to see the Vow of Disciple. So if you need to pick up any weapons from that raid, it'll be a good time to jump in, including of course the raid exotic, the Collective Obligation Pulse Rifle. But on top of that, the Prophecy Dungeon will be featured as well, and both of these will drop all of their unique items with updated power relevancy and pinnacle drops upon completion. Don't forget as well that we will see the refresh on the Ghosts of the Deep dungeon, so if you're still working on picking up any of the weapons or the exotic for instance, we will have renewed chances for that after the weekly reset. And as always, Hawthorne's Last Wish quest will refresh as well, so if you're working on picking up crafted weapons for Last Wish, it'll be good to pick that one up. And then heading to the Root of Nightmares, this week we'll see the Cosmic Equilibrium challenge, and so Mikkel's Reverence, the sidearm, will be the featured weapon. We'll also see the final Solstice refresh for the Eververse store this week as well. And it looks as well like we'll get a few more season items available for Bright Dust in the final few weeks of Season 21, so I'll have to keep you posted on that with the reset on Tuesday. Looking to the featured Lost sectors for the week though, on August 1st we'll get Sepulture dropping exotic legs, then for August 2nd we'll see Extraction dropping exotic gauntlets, and that's followed by Aphelion's Rest in the Dreaming City on August 3rd dropping exotic chest pieces. Plus we'll see Chamber of Starlight on August 4th, which will be dropping exotic helmets, and then we'll get exotic leg drops on August 5th from the Bay of Drowned Wishes, but featured for August 6th will be Vel's Labyrinth dropping exotic gauntlets, and finally, we'll see Exodus Garden 2A on August 7th dropping exotic chest pieces. If you are jumping into the Dares of Eternity this week though, on top of the Pinnacle and Powerful drops, we'll see additional Rotation 3 loot drops, and that includes the Scatterhorn armor set and Lightkin armor set from back in Season of the Splicer. Plus there'll be a bunch of Forsaken World drops and Season of the Splicer weapons featured as additional drops in Dares this week. But very finally, in the Dreaming City, if you are working on the Ascendant Challenge this week for any reason, that'll be featured in the Agonarch Abyss, which can be found via the Bay of Drowned Wishes right next to the spawn in Dreaming City, so pretty easy one to find, but if you want gameplay of the location, collectibles and things like that, we will run it at the end of the video. Otherwise though, for today guys, that is everything we have to break down in the weekly reset, and so, as always, I hope the video has been useful. Once again, I totally get that in these final few weeks of the season, things are going to be a little bit quieter in terms of gameplay, but like we said at the start, at least we will be getting more news about the upcoming season and the changes Bungie have planned for Season 22. And so if you're curious to hear about those, be sure to keep it locked and loaded right here on the channel, get subscribed and turn on notifications so I can keep you posted. And additionally, if you've enjoyed the video today, a rating below really does help us out. Plus let us know if you're wrapping any things up in these final few weeks of the season. But otherwise, as always, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
The current. You're so deep into the well.
Guardian down.